was rumored to be one of the few maps in Fernys map pools. Of course, that was before they entered CL. It was back when they were in calls.
Yeah.
For Panik, and of course, CJ said, barring Psycho, they were on different teams. This is still a map that's comfortable to them. This should be a good showing, shouldn't it? For both teams.
They haven't played in a while, though, so...
That is true.
Well, so the last time they played it was when they lost to Parabellum 07.
I did. You know, that was an important part in their history of that map pool that I forgot about. So
yeah, so that's gonna be interesting.
Like
well, first ban is Buck though, which is a pretty decent ban with how much vertical play is on this map. Thatcher, as per usual, banned out. Nobody likes Thatcher. Nobody wants him in the game anymore.
Yeah, especially since two of the primary sites are on the second floor. That bottom-up verticality can be extremely useful. We often see teams go for some nades from below, usually behind that games bar. That's a common position. A Buck can often be used to supplement that kind of play. With him being gone, not going to be nearly as easy. Thatcher and Valkyrie, it's Thatcher and Valkyrie. They're pretty common bans. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a Miro to be the last one that... Yep, there it is. So, the Buck, I would say, is a solid ban, depending on what style of play Fernys are going for, but still not a very common one. The rest of them, yeah, they make a lot of sense. But one thing that is important, Benny, Hibana is available. And on a map like Villa, that can be very useful.
Yeah, because usually you ban Hibana because you can't really impact trick those Exkyros if they're put on the bottom of those, those reinforcements. Well, you can always mute them. You can always use some kind of Harbor's Denial. But maybe that's the reason why they denied Buck. They get rid of Buck, so just make sure they can't get blown up from below. Hard to say, but we go on to our first site of Diane Kitchen, actually, which is not usually what we see. You usually see Aviator Games as a first site, but we see Panik Gaming bringing out one of the more difficult sites to bring out first.
One of the more difficult sites, but one of the more common op picks as well. I talk about this, I would say, whenever we see a Capcan. I usually bring it up whenever we see it on any map, is the site that is the most common for Capcan to be played on is this one. This one right in front of your eyes. This is, I mean, I don't have a stat to back that up, but like I've seen Capcan on this site infrequently compared to other sites in the game where I see him never. So, comparatively speaking, that's a lot more than the other one. So, six pick from Jaeger is a bit of an odd one. You don't have any projectile denial, no Wamai on the board for Panik either, but Capcan is still a common operator to be brought in this area, not only to create some impediments pushing into the site, but if you want to place them up top as well, it's possible. But usually the Capcan traps, the E1Ds or the EEDs or EDDs, excuse me, are normally focused on this bottom floor. And it's going to be players like Oasis on the Pulse, Gotcha on the Aruni, to be more so focused on the upstairs.
Well, let's see what kind of roam we have here from Panik Gaming. Some teams like to just roam towards that master bedroom side, maybe just hold control of Aviator for as long as possible. Not Aviator, my bad. Not Aviator, for Astro for as long as possible. But there is actually an Aviator player. It's Psychosis playing with Gotcha by those bookshelves by main stairs. So that's going to be the first obstacle for Fernys Tacos, is dealing with his roam and seeing if they stop these two players, push them off somehow, or kill them both. Probably the best circumstance. But Oasis below with that cardiac sensor, giving intel to his teammates, but I can't see what he's seeing. I just see he's trying to connect something.
We'll just we'll rely on faith that he is actually looking at one of the members of Panik Gaming or Fernys Tacos, and it appears it is working so far. In fact, working in spades. The two Roni players, Gotcha and Psychosis, both get picks, one for each of them. Yana and the Zofia down. Your two entries taken off the board. Do still have some important players, mainly that Lion and that Sledge. Of course, the latter for soft destruction. The former for literally anything, just freezing the defenders, whether you want to roam clear or go for an execute. But in all likelihood, the focus for Flipper is going to be on the latter, because the roamers have now started rotating back to site, but I changed my mind because I was incorrect. They were not rotating back to site. Since they were so far extended, they rotated back to trophy and statuary, or more often than not, that is where the roamers are focused. They rotate back here. Titans is there for a beautiful cutoff, saving this round and bringing it back to a 3v3.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Knowing his team members were playing to try and stop that Roman, playing a cutoff position. Great job from Titans. And now we try to rotate into an execute. And oh, Rainbow, no, the timing. He still wins the fight, though, in a barring. No, barring. Oh, unfortunate. No, this looks like Fettuccini tries to get aggressive, lose a lot of his HP in that endeavor. Now it's just Oasis and Fettuccini in a 2v3. Rainbow's going to try and push in. Actually, no, never mind. He's not going to push in. He's going to grab his drone back and try and drone his team out. Drone gets shot out. And so far, Fettuccini all by himself. Where is Oasis to help him out?
This is the question. He was all the way down inside of Art earlier on, and appears now rotating back. He's found Titans, the player who killed two of his teammates. It's fitting enough that for Titans, who was the player to even it back to a 3v3, that killing him is what evens it back to a 2v2 this time. Panik regaining that man equilibrium. Oasis and Oasis and Fettuccine both on the site. The latter with the C4 is a powerful combo. But at the same time, that vertical hole, Flipper didn't see him. And now that Fettuccine's got the kill onto Rainbow, Flipper, who had such a powerful advantage, is now completely done away with. He has one EE, one D, but he doesn't have a lot of intel, and it's back to Fernys, who have the exact intel on his position. He manages to shoot the C4 out of the air, but all Panik have to do is wait and peek when the moment arises. Panik Gaming, an excellent first round. Very shaky middle of it, but a good recovery by the end.
Yeah, that was scary. That was actually scary. But yeah, that first part, Panik Gaming, great, like just great trio of aggression from Panik Gaming. Just have the pulse below, giving intel to the two members that are in tandem, playing two angles that are on the same axis. And so those members that push in from that balcony push in, and all the intel from Oasis, he's watching them walk in, giving correct, detailed intel to his teammates that can swing off of it and get those kills. But Titans playing perfectly at a cutoff, and even it was funny. It was a 1v2 cutoff as well, and he got both members. That is crazy to me as well. That was a 1v2, both members walking back. That's like he wins both of those fights. Putting into 3v3, and Barring unfortunately tries to swing out and kill Rainbow, who is pushing into Laundry all by himself, and he couldn't win that fight, unfortunately, with the SMG-11 or the FMG-5. I don't know what he had, actually. I think he had the FMG. I'm assuming he had the SMG-11, but he couldn't win that fight, unfortunately, against Rainbow, putting into a 3v2, and it was Fettuccine and Oasis. Oasis come back to site, gets a pick on his own, which is good, making it 2v2, but Flipper, if Flipper had gotten that kill, he would have saved his teammate's life.
That was it. That was it right there. And of course, not his fault. He just didn't see him.
You just didn't see him, unfortunately.
That's just... And it's not even like he just, gave it a quick glance and left. He was looking at that hole in the floor for a solid 3 to 5 seconds, and he just didn't see him. The way it goes sometimes, unfortunately. But good win by Panik Gaming. Again, good recovery by the end. Players like Oasis and Fettuccine bringing it back. Now moving towards Aviator Games, a site that might be a little bit more comfortable getting that tertiary bomb site out of the way. This is a site that if we were talking about, I know CJ brought up Psychosis and Afer shooting Tachanka grenades earlier. Similar setup coming out from Panik Gaming. Not an uncommon setup for this site by any means, but the principle is Oasis is going to be the main player to stall time. Without a smoke, you're going to rely on those Shamika grenades to be launched in various positions, whether it be bottom main, study door, vault, wherever the attackers are pushing from. Oasis is going to be the guy trying to delay time from those positions, and Barring as well, he's going to be another player to watch because those main stairs are about to be heavily contested in the next 45.
I just remember his last stage when he just swings the bottom of the stairs.
First play of the stage.
I think it was he killed Forrest, I believe it was. Was it Forrest? It was Abenai. I think it was Abenai or Forrest. He just walk up the stairs, he just swings it and kills them. I'm like, oh my, what is happening? But let's see what happens here. There seems to be a similar setup, and Barring playing those stairs. Titans, look at these, they've made the way to the stairs, and they see those. Oh, there's a long shot from the far back of Piano by Fettuccine. Great shot in the net, actually, but Fettuccine goes down already, and Rainbow will take out Psychosis, and the grenade from onto Fettuccine from Titan. Two great kills from the side of Fernys Tacos, and trying to get a refrag, trying to bring it back. Barring trying his best, but now it's a 2v4 within the first minute and a half.
They've taken main stairs control. Oasis will peek out for just a second. We'll quickly rotate back in. And one member from Fernys Tacos has quickly not only taken that position, but is eager to take more. Titans, that's the player who's the tip of the spear for Fernys Tacos on main stairs. Two players moving up. Actually, 3 Flippers there as well, and 1 player outside of study. Fernys Tacos right now, very one-sided. Thankfully for them, they have minute 15 seconds to change things out. 6 drones alive as well. Some of those likely on the flanks, but still plenty to actively gain intel for the attack. Ooh. Ironically enough, Gotcha will swing out, take advantage of maybe a lack of intel, find poise, but there's Rainbow for the refrag, and now it's Oasis left in the 1v3. First flash goes on in, the second as well. Neither blind Oasis, though, could manage to land some shots with the Shamika launcher. In fact, that's what he'll do, but it appears it might have overshot Rainbow. Doesn't matter either way. Titans manages to swing on in, take Oasis's head clean off, and even things up for Fernys Tacos.
1 for 1 going so far, and it was definitely some early aggression there from Panik Gaming. They were looking to try and stop that main stairs take early. You saw Fettuccine get that first pick, I believe, from above, using those holes from sight, but it was some grenades and great shots from below from Fernys Tacos to fight back and deal with Barring, who was trying to, capitalize and try and even up the man count. He swings on the player in balcony, making it a 4v2 in the first minute and a half for Fernys Tacos. So unfortunately, Panik Gaming trying to start out, trying to stop them, trying to throw a wrench in the plan of Fernys Tacos, but Fernys Tacos were ready time and time again in that round. And we go on to Trophy Statue for our next site. We're not going to reach our video games. We go to another site for Panik Gaming and see what entails them this time.
Defenders, protect your
It appears it's a similar. It's a similar theory behind it, but different execution. Whereas before on AVG, they were Panic going to rely a lot more on that Tachanka to waste time. Instead, going here, Oasis will switch to the smoke. Again, that's pretty common. The issue on AVG is just a lot of the smoke angles are now really awkward. So on Trophy Statuary, a lot more straightforward. If you're just sitting inside a trophy, just lob one over to Brick, for example. You don't need to do some weird trick shot with the Shamika launcher to make that work. You can just throw it and you're fine. Also bringing the Cade as well. They have both the Mute in tandem for maybe some hard breach denial on the extension. You can see Gotcha placing them inside of Aviator, and the Electric Claws more so focusing at home. Overall, there's going to be an extension from Panic Gaming, but they're really going to try to hold on to AVG for as long as they can, and then when they rotate back, it's going to be a hard anchor. I don't imagine anybody's going to be getting too aggressive once they start rotating back.
So the question is, Fernys Tacos, are they going to head on that extension face forward and deal with those members, or are they going to try and go for maybe a red stairs, circumvent that Aviator games take, maybe push through 90, or just go for it and Poise left the game. Bye, Poise. I'll see you later.
That is horrendous timing, unfortunately. As
Yep.
not an admin, so I'm not going to make the call, of course, but I do believe that is past the 2-minute 45 threshold. Don't believe Fernys Tacos can call for a rehost, unfortunately. Again, not going to make claims. Not an admin, so don't take my word on that.
I don't see anybody in chats anything, so I'm assuming they're playing.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. So, unfortunately, we might have to play the round out. And honestly, maybe Poise hasn't been having the biggest match so far in these first couple rounds, but he is one of the key entries. He was one of the standout players, especially in Fernys' game against Outlast. He was doing quite well from himself. So that's going to be a loss that is probably going to hurt Fernys Tacos on their entry game. And players like Nat are going to have to step it up to try to make this work.
Well, let's see if Titan once again can spearhead his team into this round as he's shooting through that 90 window, trying to fire in Gotcha because Gotcha's playing behind that bar inside of it, and grenade comes through. Great grenade from Nat. There goes Gotcha to even up the man count, and so now the next person is gonna be Barring playing 90. It looks like the drone on Barring's position, so at least now members of Fernys Tacos should be aware of his position. He's gonna back off for the moment, knowing one on 90 window, and so really they at least pushed off this drum. They pushed off the extension, take control of this far side in the first minute and a half. Good times from Fernys Tacos, and question is, are they going to start rotating towards that master bedroom side, though?
That is the nice thing, is that sure, they lost their Zofia, but if they had lost their Hibana, this would be a lot more difficult to make work. While they are low on time, only a minute 15 left, it's going to be difficult if they want to rotate over to master bedroom. They do still have the option that they're available to go for that hard breaching. Unfortunately, right now, Psychosis is currently contesting that position. Maybe feeling emboldened after the DC on the side of Fernys Tacos. Playing inside of there is going to be difficult. That's going to be something that that Fernys Tacos will have to reconcile it with. Whether it be directly countering him by going master bedroom, or just hoping they can minimize his impact as they make their way into the site. Rainbow is currently rotating over there right now, but he'll be playing split duty of whether or not to open up the wall or to deal with Psychosis. Until he does that, the members of Fernys Tacos that are currently pushing into Statuary are going to be reliant on these flashbangs and these E1Ds to make a play work. Barring swings out, but thankfully neither take any bit of damage in that engagement. Nat caught with the Gone 6, quickly rotated off. He'll put a bullet in the heel of Barring, but since he's not Achilles, he won't suffer a fatal blow because of that. Never mind, Achilles heel, more like Achilles skull. A bullet to the face will certainly be the instantaneous death of Barring, and now Fernys Tacos can start making their way on in. A trade thanks to Rainbow after the early kill from Fettuccine. Flipper starting able to get the bomb down. Excellent coverage by Rainbow. A double from him. The DC doesn't matter so far, but the time certainly does. 5 seconds left. They've entered the red zone, but Oasis is peeking a long angle with the shotgun. Unfortunate timing for him. Excellent 3K. Excellent coverage by Rainbow, making the most of a terrible situation.
I wonder if that Gone 6
on the kitchen. I could be wrong, of course, but I think they will, considering it's the one time they've won a defense so far.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that as Villa has gone around in the iterations and the different operators added to the pool, it's becoming more and more even, maybe a bit more attacker side, hard to say, but I would say if Panic Gaming can only win one site, it's not looking great for them. Hard to say that. We'll see what happens, though. Maybe things will change up. Maybe they'll adapt and figure things out. We'll go on to Dining Kitchen, and you were right. We're going to that site. We're bringing a dock, though, which is different.
Well, I will say also at the same time, whether or not the map is attacker-sided, I mentioned this a little bit in the previous game between Nocturnes and IF, but in the Nocturnes versus Fernys game, both teams struggled heavily on attack. No matter what, if this map is attacker-sided or defender-sided or not, well, I suppose if it's attacker-sided, you can take this with a little bit of a grain of salt, if that's what your viewpoint is. But if Fernys are having a lot of success on attacks, even at situations where their teammate has literally disconnected from the lobby, that's not only a really good showing of maybe the prep they put in, but also that this is maybe not going to be a very good match for Panic Gaming if Fernys Tacos continue to have success on the attack, which has been their weaker side in CL so far.
If history shows that they are not doing great in attack and they're proving here on Villa they're attacking pretty damn well, yeah, I do agree. It's not looking great for Panic Gaming, though. Maybe they're just prepped on Villa. Maybe they practice it and know what to do here. Hard to say. Definitely be interesting to see when we switch sides, but we'll wait on that for now. Let's go on to a redo of this site, and we'll see exactly. Well, they still have a similar roles here. 2 Ronies and Psychosis in Gotcha's hands, and Oasis on the pulse. And I wonder, are they going to make the same play? And is Fernys Tacos going to be able to, headway stop it like they did last time? Because it was Titan last time, who was able to even it up with the great cutoff. And Oasis downstairs once again with that credit sensor. But he's more aware this time. He's expecting someone from Fernys Tacos to be in his face and stop him from giving all the intel to his team.
That's what I really want to see, is if Fernys are aware of that presence by the Pulse. They obviously knew he was playing on that side of the map last time, considering that when Oasis killed Titans in the final minute of round number 1, he was coming from Art, from Aviator Games, from that side of the map. So Fernys Tacos know that Oasis has tended to play on that side of the map, whether it be in the early, mid, or late round. Right now, he's rotating back early on, but no, Fernys Tacos, they're just barreling on in. They're rushing. They catch Oasis on the rotate back. Psycho manages to catch 1. The Roni brothers catch 2 instead. It's looking nice so far, but there's Rainbow to shut down Gotcha. He swings on in, but Psycho, the final brother standing, is able to make his way back in and even things out to a 2v2. A nice C4, a 3k for Psycho, has put Flipper the only one left. He started that rush because of the E1D. He'll end it by walking through a Rooney gate and succumbing to the wrath of Psychosis.
You were talking about that. I just saw Poise and Flipper just running up those stairs, and I couldn't tell if they were rappelling or they were running up the stairs. I was like, are they rushing? Surely. Well, I say surely, but it makes sense though because of how much.
Yeah.
We already saw from the previous round when they did this. There were 3 members off site. Gotcha, Psychosis, and Oasis were playing on the Aviator game side. They're playing to deny the entry into study. So it makes sense for Fernys Tacos to see that and be like, all right, let's go for a rush. Let's go for a push on the site, knowing that they're actively roaming like that. And so they do push on the site. They're able to get picks on members on the site. But the members from Panic Gaming who were roaming were close enough where they could rotate back to site. Members like that could jump down red carpet, jump down the hatch into brown stairs, walk back into site. And those members still were able to deny the entries of the rest of the members from Fernys Tacos, walking from laundry, walking from pantry, and still able to get the way through. So still, it's kind of crazy that Panic Gaming in those moments was still able to win those fights and bring it back and win the round. So good on Panic Gaming. Unfortunate for Fernys Tacos, they tried to figure things out. They saw maybe a weak point, but it wasn't quite what they expected.
Top of that, maybe I'm incorrect, so I might be wrong. Keep that in mind. But I feel like Rainbow was also a little bit behind Poise and it was Flipper pushing on it. It actually might have been Titans. Either way, Poise and whoever else was with him on laundry pushing in. Rainbow came in from laundry a little bit later on, so it could be some disconnect in Fernys Tacos. But again, as you said, overall, it was a hole that was clearly exploited, but because of members of Panic being in the right position at the right time on the rotate back, wasn't really able to work out. Going forward to trophy stature, this will also be a situation where hopefully we can see the full scope of Fernys Tacos' attack now that Poise is actually in the cards and not out of the lobby this go around, but disconnected right about now, so just give it a couple seconds.
Yeah, I do kind of agree as well. Maybe it was a bit of unsynchronization where they could have pushed and got the plant down. Maybe gone for the plant, had someone, watching for that entry into China from those rotating defense players. But anyway, I digress. We go on to the next defense. We're back to Aviator Games. Actually, Aviator Games. We're back to Trophy and Statuary for our defense in Panic Gaming. And it was unfortunate, not a great start. Gotcha getting blown up in his position. Baring was trying to hold off, but Gotcha being stuck in games by himself, being surrounded by the side of Panic Gaming, or not Panic, from Fernys Tacos, and because they're like, Baring can't do anything because someone's on the 90 window, so Gotcha's kind of all alone, seemingly once again.
He is playing close with a shotgun, but yeah, here's the question. Will he be able to survive this nade? He's starting to rotate out, but he's caught perfectly by Rainbow. Does take a little bit of damage, the Hibana does, but still able to get the opening pick. And as you said, Benny, because Gotcha's playing a little bit by himself, nobody from Panic is really in a good position to refrag and try to land the trade. There are players that were playing inside of Skull on top of red stairs, but Fernys Tacos is just a little bit too far into study to really make that an effective proposition for Panic to undertake. They'll start rotating back with some players down below like Baring, but other players certainly sitting on the site right now, just waiting for the members of Fernys to make their play. With half the round gone and an opening pick, a C4 down, the extension fully cleared. 5 men as well.
Ooh.
All right, well, that's my bad for talking.
Well, Poise was the one who disconnected last time, so it's the same situation.
That's true, actually. It is the exact same situation.
So in the same situation, it's the same thing here. Is they have to get rid of the mute jammer on the wall, get that wall open, master, and they're literally in the same situation now. It looks like the members of Panik Gaming, they are more aware that the Habana hold, those ex-Kairos, that opening of that tri-wall was a huge part of that round. So this time, seems like members of Panik Gaming are in position to try and stop it this time. Nat here with the Gon 6 once again will destroy that shield at least this time, but the questions have destroyed those denial, but no, Rainbow's dead, never mind.
Ooh, that's a massive pick coming out from Psychosis. Rainbow was the player we highlighted as one of, if not the reason, Fernys Tacos managed to pull away with that round. Now with that wall closed and him not in a position to cover bedroom, Psycho has free reign to play a power position on this site for the defense. Nat pushing on in, completely falls to barring, swatted down like a fly, still contesting the angle as well in the 2v4. Panik Gaming have plenty of man advantage to make this work. They won't even need to play the trade game. They land their shots. They guarantee themselves at a minimum a 3-3 half.
Looking good so far for them, and that round was, again, this seemed to be the very same start from that other trophy statue round where they just deal with Gotcha. Gotcha this time, though he tried to play aggressive, he tried to stay alive longer by pushing out, not having a grenade fall right in his face. He pulls out, tries to swing off Classical, swing off Books onto the member of Rainbow, who was waiting for it, though. They were waiting and ready for that fight. So Gotcha goes down early, though. There was a refrag from the side of Panik Gaming, a C4, great C4. I think it was pre-placed. Not sure it was pre-placed or there was there before, but blows up Poise, which was the member that disconnected in the round before that. So it kind of ends up being the same exact situation, a 4v4. But the big thing this time is Rainbow this time goes for that same thing, goes to Master Bedroom to open that wall up, but members from Panik Gaming are ready. Psychosis deals with Rainbow early. That wall can't be opened up, so now it becomes a one-sided push from the side of Fernys Tacos, and the members of Panik Gaming are like, oh, this is easy. We got this.
Now for the final site going forward, Aviator Games. Going back to that setup that we saw earlier from Panik with Oasis on that Tachanka, likely contesting really anywhere he's needed, barring and Fettuccini. Holding more so over to those main stairs, but important distinction here, Psychosis is now on the Wamai and it's Fettuccini on the Smoke. Before, Panik only had Oasis to delay that time, and instead now they have both the Smoke and the Tachanka, so they can focus one, like maybe the Tachanka, for delaying anybody moving into the site, and they can have maybe Fettuccini trying to waste time on main stairs with those smoke canisters. Either way, whichever way you want to phrase it, could be vice versa. It's going to help them a lot, because not only will it stop Fernys Tacos from getting momentum early on, but if they get it, it'll stop them from continuing it later on as well.
A little bit different Fernys Tacos. They're not going for that main stairs take this time, even though it works so well in that previous Aviator Games round. They're actually pushing for a Master Bedroom, sinking into maybe a 90 Classical and Skull take for them. So, you know, they're taking control of Master Bedroom for the moment. And Poise. No, Poise!
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Yeah, just...
Poise is good. Oh,
he's back.
Shooting. Oh, he's good now. He's good.
Well,
that was scary.
That was... I didn't like that. I don't need that right now. But thankfully, Poise is still in the lobby. But right here, Psychosis is as well, and he's playing very aggressively on these red stairs right now. Not a hold that we haven't seen before. I believe it was Wichita Wolves who would often put in a Rooney or Abonai on the Rooney in this position, and actually Psychosis is just getting aggressive right in their face. Neither Nat nor Psychosis knows their position, and Nat somehow on the reaction comes away with it. That's not how I expected the opening pick in the opening duel to happen, but good for Fernys Tacos for coming away with it, I guess. That was odd.
Of course, I can't see. Only we can. But still, like the fact that I don't know how big the barrel is on the MP5, but the fact that Nat didn't see it, or Nat maybe Nat saw it and just waited. I don't know. Oh, that was great though. So that's a good start for Fernys Tacos. Deal with the player in red, so they can't be a menace when trying to take control of this. But still, Oasis coming through, and there's nobody to hold for the refrags. Oasis gets away with that scot-free. Gotcha's still below with the C4 too. Wait, actually, he's impacts actually. So Gotcha's below for maybe a flank later on. Has the impact in hand. No, Gotcha's gonna return back to site anyway, I guess. Or maybe make a hole in that default plant site next to the vault door so you can stop the plant. Hard to say.
whatever it is, based on the posture of Fernys right now, they don't seem to be making, or they don't seem to have any inclination to start clearing out downstairs. They're really focused on making it work on the second floor. So impact, C4 or not, obviously he has impact, so no C4. He can still have a lot of, no pun intended, impact if he does stay down there. Though, as I say, that poise is starting to look downstairs, so maybe his position not nearly as secure as it once was. So rotating up, maybe the good idea in the long run. But here's that double denial we were talking about earlier. Gotcha is still downstairs, finds a kill on the Titans, and this is where the problems start to arise. Fernys Tacos have to start pushing into the site in the face of a Tachanka and a smoke. Thankfully, the Tachanka's down. The smoke is as well. It is actually just Gotcha downstairs. Ironic how things turn out sometimes. He'll start making his way up main, but almost fully flashed. He won't manage to evade the effect of that secondary utility. Rotating on in, spots one vault, but he's not able to land the shots. He has intel there, but the players in study do as well, knowing that with somebody in vault and with somebody in study, they effectively have Gotcha contained. He'll start to push on in with one prone on the floor, manages to land the shots. Poison Flipper, both low HP. Almost lands the free fire on the player vault, but he misses some key shots. Now has to hit the reload once again. One player's rotated out to Skull, the other still holding steadfast inside of vault. One to his left, he's the one firing first, and the one Gotcha has to contend with. He'll sprint on through, almost lands the shots, but Poise is quicker with higher ammo count. Fernys Tacos, they'll end the half 3-3.
Oh, that was a crazy round, and what started out really, back and forth, and the able to stop the person on red stairs for Fernys Tacos. Great work on them. Stop that because he just plays a little aggressive. Unfortunately, Psychosis walks upstairs, try to get aggressive on red stairs, doesn't know that Nat's literally right around the corner. Gets that pick, and then one player, looks like Nat at that point, tries to rotate towards, or tries to, cross across the Skull door, walking to 90, but Oasis is there, and nobody's covering Nat on that. That running across, it's almost like in the military when you run across, things that are unsecure, and you have to have people watching for it. Nobody's watching for it, unfortunately. So Nat gets killed out. Oasis gets away scot-free. Gotcha then flanks from below on red stairs, gets a kill as well on the member. So it's looking pretty good for Fernys Tacos because they still had Oasis and whoever was playing, finishing playing Smoke. So they still had such denial for that plant. They had both the Shamika launcher and the smoke canisters to stop them. But even with that, the members of Fernys Tacos were able to peek through those doorways, kill Oasis, kill Fettuccine, and it's just Gotcha in a 1v3.
Was a bit of a difficult spot for them to round it out. But 3-3 half for Panik, not terrible, but this is really the issue that we need to see because we didn't see much of their attacks in their one game this season so far. It was a 7-1 against Wichita. They only played 2 rounds of the attack. They lost both of them. But going here, for any team that is coming in with a coach, even if they've had a lot of time to gel with that roster, attacks are always going to be the more difficult side. Fettuccine is on flank watch right now, and I think that's good. You don't want Fettuccine to be, to be your entry because, again, with players like Psycho or Barring, they're going to be your entries. And for the hard supports of Oasis and Gotcha, flank watch is kind of that role where if you have a player that hasn't played comp in a while, like Fettuccine hasn't, that's really a good spot because all he has to do is, drone people in, sit and watch and seeing people come up. Theoretically, if you're just good overall, Fettuccine might not even need to have too much impact in the round if everyone else is doing their jobs.
Could be. That's okay. If everybody's doing else do their jobs.
True.
That's the caveat there.
That is the caveat.
So we'll see. That is the caveat for that. We'll see how it goes that one. Looks like Gotcha's already taking control of the living room, so they're denying that bottom floor roam. But there is Rainbow with the C4 rotating into Memorial. He's looking around. I don't know what intel Panik Gaming has on his position as they're trying to push through. And there's members of Fernys Tacos who are playing down there. And Panik Gaming at least has full control of that Aviator game side. No extension for Fernys Tacos. Fernys Tacos aren't really playing that aggressive besides Rainbow below with the C4.
That is also a caveat. It's Rainbow with the C4, and not on an operator you would normally think would be roaming this far off the side. Of course, it is trophy statuary, so with the C4, he can play down below, and maybe he feels more comfortable with the shotgun, SMG-11 on kitchen, a little bit more close quarters in some areas, but overall, not the operator you'd be thinking. But right now, Panik Gaming are all starting to coalesce outside the site, or at least some of them are. Psycho and Barring have already made massive headway into 90, cleared out Aviator games, and are ready and waiting at the door of the site. Oasis and Fettuccine joining them as well. It's only Gotcha down below, which could be a bit tricky if they're not aware of Rainbow's position. Gotcha, again, is in a position where he might not be traded. Oasis is close by, but he's on drones right now, so if Rainbow manages to rotate out, it's going to be difficult for Gotcha to make work. He will send out one Rotero drone. I believe that, I'm not entirely sure what that was getting, but as for right now, as long as he's down below, thankfully Panik have the opening advantage. It's an effective 3v4 on the site. The longer Gotcha's downstairs, Fettuccine won't manage to pick up one. Titans even things up 3v3, but exactly, C4 and low HP for 2 members of Panik means that Oasis will have to rotate back up, and Titans and Rainbow can start holding things down. With 1 member down below for Fernys Tacos and 1 member up above, this could be a situation where it's difficult for the defense to win.
What a bloodbath that was. But here we go. Finishing, tries to put the plant down. The question is, no, from bedroom, Titan. He peeks out, takes out both members, the last 2 members of Panik Gaming, and will be Fernys Tacos take the first defense.
Exactly. And hey, what do you know, Benny? Master bedroom not being cleared out could sometimes be a little bit important for the defense.
Just
when they could just sit inside there and hold a powerful angle if you're trying to plant statuary. Now, of course, Panik Gaming actually were quite successful in their early round. They were clearly wanting to go for a statuary or trophy statuary side to take. They weren't focusing on Master Bedroom early on. They were going to rotate there later. They had the option to rotate there later. They did that perfectly fine. They got all that in the first minute. But after that, that was where things started to get tricky. Gotcha was just kind of downstairs for a long time, meandering, using his Rotera drones, so on and so forth. But when it came to clearing out utility on the site and making the push on in, it still seemed like Panik Gaming were not necessarily pushing in blind, but just trying to collide against the wall of Fernys Tacos' defense.
Yeah, it looked like they were just trying to find a weak point rather than rotating the Master Bedroom to create one of themselves. So that getting that first pick allowed them to walk in. But then from that point, there's still too many angles. There's still too many members from Fernys Tacos who had angles from, Astro from that single wall. And members still playing Master Bedroom, shying across the way at them. So even though they had the angle, they had the push into Trophy, they didn't have quite the control they need to really make anything of it without creating a bloodbath. That's what that was pretty much. They lost member after member, trading back and forth, putting it 2v2 at that point. Last 2 members of Oasis and Fettuccine were low in HP. And they hadn't cleared out the members of Master Bedroom, and they had no intel who was there either. So they try to walk in, and they get figured out, and Titan finishes both off. So unfortunate for for Panik's Gaming, but it really seemed with that mid game they didn't try to rotate, they didn't try to create anything else from that execute. Unfortunately, maybe they didn't have the the correct intel, they didn't have the correct team cohesion to do it. I don't know.
Well, whatever it is, it's a similar style of attack in the second round, this time on Aviator Games. Instead of starting in Aviator Games and making their way to Trophy and Statuary, they're starting in Trophy Statuary and making their way over to Aviator Games. But, especially now that Poise has gotten the opening pick onto Gotcha, we need to see a bit more of a rotation from Panik Gaming if they want to take the same style of attack. Also, losing your Flores, while he might not have had the most impact in the previous round, a lot of shields on the defense right now. 3 in particular, 2 from the Goyo and 1 in the hands of Rainbow. Without those Rotera drones to take those down, a lot more is on players like Psychosis and Barring to make their utility work, and that's already going to be a problem, while also navigating Jaeger ADSs and Aruni gates.
I don't see any actually, so I wonder if Gotcha used his Rotera drones or not. Hard to say. I see some explosion spots, but I wonder if that was just made by Rainbow with that LMG. But either way, Nat needs to be dealt with first here. Playing that red stairs like we saw from Psychosis earlier. Psychosis looks like he knows he's there, pre-fires it, doesn't get the shot though. Nat's still just trying to waste time because half the rounds gone by and Nat's just doing his job, waiting for Panik Gaming to push him off. He'll get stunned for the moment and he'll push off bottom stairs, like he's trying to rotate way below as looks like Barring is trying to push his angle from the bottom of the stairs or from the first floor. So he gets away at least alive for the moment, but he's got to rotate downstairs and try to come back to site at a different angle.
And right now, Panik Gaming with the loss of Gotcha and no ability for a refrag, it's going to be difficult to rotate over because somebody's going to be by themselves. If you really want to focus a lot on this side and only have 1 player on study, it's pretty easy for Fernys Tacos just to play the trade game, take down that player on the balcony, and then start moving on in. On top of that, with the denial they have, Rainbow still with plenty of Shumika grenades in his pocket. The strategies for Panik Gaming are quickly dwindling the longer this round goes on. Continue trying to stake their claim in 90 is just going to face them with a similar situation to last round, barreling into the full utility and full defense of Fernys Tacos. One's rotated down, but Psychosis has managed to find a pick on the site. That's the exact kind of opening they need. If they manage to find Rainbow or Nat on the roam as well and make this a 4v3, I think a lot of things could change, but they have found their opening. It's inside a vault, and nobody's watching. Rainbow's caught with his pants down, looking the wrong way. Another one falls as well. That was Nat rotating upstairs, and now Titans and Flipper, the 2 main stairs players, now have to retake the site. Both are on full HP, and with only 9 seconds left, Oasis has to start getting this bomb down. Psychosis with the 3rd. Flipper's the only one left. He's inside a bar. They all know his exact position. A great shot onto Fettuccine, but with 000, Panik have the bomb on the floor, and that's the most important part. It's on Flipper now. He's managed to down one, but the Vector isn't known for being able to take lengthy engagements. He's finished him off, and one is on low HP, but it's still a 1v2 with not a lot of ammo and not a lot of health for Flipper either. Barring with full intel in his position will swing out, get the kill, and even things up for Panik once again.
With the first pick from the side of Fernys Tacos, looking good for them. Panik Gaming was just kind of walking into a one-sided affair, but it was Psychosis time and time again getting pick after pick with help from his teammates like Barring and Fettuccini, but still walking in and just, you know, taking fights here and there. You see little bits of fights here and there, opening the wall in the vault as well. They give him a really big, good wall walk into sight in the vault wall open and cutting the sight in half. And members of, you know, the defense not aware of the members walking from the attack walking into vault was just huge. And just, yeah, that was huge from Psychosis too. 3K from that round, and unfortunate, even though Fernys Tacos had the first pick, had the utility needed to stop a plant, they just weren't aware of how much control Panik and Gaming had got when they opened up that vault.
If they're able to watch that vault, that round goes a lot differently, but Benny, we talked about in that very first round of Trophy Statuary, Panik Gaming were trying to find an opening that never really manifested. Well, this time they found their opening, and it worked spectacularly. Now going downstairs, I wouldn't say there's exactly one kind of spot that is the key weakness. If Fernys Tacos are heavily extended early on, and Panik Gaming see the opportunity for a rush, that could be, if they want to go for that same style of strategy, that could be the play they're going for. But right here, this is going to be a situation where they're likely going to have to tackle these players upstairs. With Gotcha also rotating to the sledge, it's clear that vertical is going to be a bit more of a priority for them, so they will have to play into, to some degree, the defenders of Fernys Tacos currently inside of Trophy and Statuary.
Yeah, well, they have to do. Yeah, they have to stop it somehow, because that's going to prove to be an issue if they don't deal with it. They don't have the. They have the, you know, the LMG and the shotgun of Flipper as well, so they could create those footholes, and those footholes could be what stops them if they rush onto site. But I do agree. I think it's better if you know, Panik Gaming were to just try and deal with them straight out. But we'll see if they go for it. Oasis is the first one up here on the balcony, open up these windows, and I'm assuming they use those X-Cows to open the wall to try and take fights with these members. Of course, they have Goyo shields facing towards that south side, because it seems like a lot of members from Panik Gaming are coming from that south to north side take here, going from that study side, pushing on through, and they have to deal with Nat, Poise, and Titan playing as a trio up here, and see how long it takes them to deal with them. If they're gonna get the kills even, or if the members from, you know, Fernys Tacos are gonna see the pressure and drop back down. Barring's first one, he just walks right in front of that shield, comes with his life though, which is good.
Yeah, that was very risky for Barring right there, just dry peeking it like that. Even if he had some intel, the player from I believe it was Nat, was clearly, one, ready for it, and two, had a deployable shield as well, so he was really the advantageous one in that engagement. But as you said, thankfully manages to walk away, and now Panik Gaming have their full man count to try to make this take of the upstairs work for the moment. Gotcha. Excellent nade onto Titans. Also, good job evading that C4 earlier, and there's just a drone beaming free intel to Panik Gaming right now, with Oasis managing to take out Nat. Poise, that player, Gotcha spotted on the drone, was the only one left upstairs, but he's taken the smart move and rotated all the way down. He does have a C4, so there's, along with those Shumika grenades, there is some plant denial on the side of Fernys Tacos, but losing that extension so handedly. Sure, there's a minute, 10 seconds left, but still plenty of time for Panik to get done with a lot of what they need to.
So the question is, how much damage can Panik Gaming do with these vertical angles? Rainbow with the LMG looking back at the ceiling. He's trying to see if he can get a pick onto Gotcha on the sledge and stop this madness opening up the ceiling, because otherwise he's getting pushed back into a corner. And it's going to be obvious where his position is if Panik Gaming has the intel. And the big thing is Poise the C4 and off-site. If they don't, if Poise could be the one to stop this play here and there off-site if they didn't know his position. Well, it looks like Barring has been peeked out, and he pings one player, maybe pushing by those couches. But at this point, yeah, Panik Gaming are expecting to turn this into an execute soon.
Ooh, Flipper getting very aggressive on that door. My friend, you probably just need to play close with that shotgun. You do not need to be getting that aggressive, especially with how close or how low down in the man count you are currently. Just sit there. Sure, you don't have a C4, but just play with the shotgun. But there we go. Big pick from Psychosis, taking down that player with the C4. Rainbow might be able to trade, but missing that shot on the Fettuccini as well. Clearly the fatal flaw in that defense for Fernys Tacos was not shutting down the coach when they had the chance. Nice two shots to pair at the end right there. Panik Gaming, they've taken the lead.
Ooh, nice shots, Fettuccini. But yeah, that was unfortunate that roam just did not work out whatsoever for Panik, or not Panik, for Fernys Tacos. Fernys Tacos had three members upstairs, and it was two of those members to go down to Panik Gaming, and really big thing intel. We saw Gotcha on that drone as pinging out member after member from Fernys Tacos upstairs. Just had that drone on top of that case next to the telescope. And he had all the information needed. Gets a grenade kill on a Titan who unfortunately was walking up the stairs at the perfect time for Gotcha to throw a grenade right in his face. And intel for members like Oasis to kill Nat, who was playing aggressive on the bathroom door. At that point, the last members have to come back to the site, or they have to try and pull back down, retreat from that top floor. And then it was Panik Gaming to use that vertical play just to push back those defenders to positions that they're not going to win those fights. And Poise tried to come back through China. He gets picked off on the way down though by, I think it was, I saw from the from Barring, or no, from Psychosis, who was in Laundry. And then last 2 shots with Fettuccine. Great 2 shots to end the round.
I think so far this has been really good showing from Panik Gaming. Of course, I said earlier that these attacks are really going to be the big question, because just for slotting in any new member last minute, the attacks are going to be the more difficult side because they require a little bit more coordination than the defenses do more often than not. The fact that they've managed to win 2 out of the 3 defenses so far is really good. And if they win it here, not only is it match point, but this was the only other defensive site that Fernys Tacos have won. It was in that very first round of the defense, and since then, it's not been a good showing for them so far. Fernys Tacos are rolling with their same lineup, but Gotcha's decided to stick with the Sledge instead of the Flores. I honestly think that's a good pick. While in terms of the primary utility, Flores might be a bit more direct. With those nades in hand, you have a lot more options for vertical play, and in tandem with Barring, still a lot of destruction at your disposal as well. And clearly, so far, it's been working ever since he changed. So for Panik, I think this is a really good spot right now. Even if they lose, they have a good shot at getting their first win in CL. They're on this trend to continue.
Yeah, definitely. Winning those 2 rounds, and like just the fact that they've only won 1 bomb site so far, it's kind of like we saw from Panik Gaming on their defense, but they end up winning another bomb site in that to even it up. So kind of the same storyline from both defenses so far. But again, we're going to see how will they do. As last time Panik Gaming, he got it close due to a great pick to open up and allow them to entry onto Trophy. And that question was, will Fernys Taco give them that same angle? And those members of Fernys Tacos playing Master Bedroom, playing back in Astro that were super vital in that late game. And it was the fact that Panik Gaming didn't even try to push those angles later on. They have time now. They could try to rotate into a pick, or just say, oh, it looks like Gotcha's trying to deal with that person inside of, yeah, it looks like trying to trophy maybe from the grenade from below, but the angle isn't quite there and the intel isn't quite there for his team to get that pick. Rainbow's still below the C4. Flipper with a great shot on a Psychosis, so other way around, it's Flipper to fight back and stop that entry.
This was sort of the issue with Panik on their last attempt at Trophy and Statuary, was a heavy stall out on that side of Aviator and Games. Right here, Gotcha is a bit more proactive and a bit more active in general in his attempt to try to take down Rainbow downstairs, because last time he just let the mute sit down here basically for free, but now he's starting to make his way on in. Rainbow peeks and Gotcha shuts him down. The C4 taken away with, we might have a mute sound bug, but the mute is no longer gone. So, the important thing here to note is that not only have Panik managed to take down Rainbow down below, they've also gained the man advantage. Nat might have a C4 on site, but now that Poise has fallen as well, this is prime territory for Panik to bring things back and send themselves to match point. Titans in the 1v3. Will spot 2 rotating in, but all of his bullets miss. He can't miss, or he can't hit either of the targets in his sights. It's match point for Panik.
Oh, what a run there. They're able to deal with Rainbow below. Flipper had the first pick, which, slowed down Panik Gaming, but Fernys Tacos still unfortunately lose 2 members. A grenade one time. Downstairs below was Gotcha to get the other pick too, to give them that advantage, that 1-man advantage going into the execute. And I don't know where the rest of them came from, but members like Fettuccine were pushing in the Master Bedroom, pushing in a trophy, and unfortunately, one after another, Fernys Tacos could not win those gunfights.
And for Panik right there, it wasn't the best start losing Psychosis early on. It really seemed like they were continuing along with the same trend they had last time of being very one-dimensional, not rotating over, not having a lot going for them. But both those problems were solved at the same time. Gotcha gets the kill on Rainbow down below, so he can't rotate back later on like he was unable to in that first trophy statuary defense. And on top of that, as you said, the entries make their way into the site. Kills come over from a variety of locations. Good play by Panik. And now going forwards here, that was Fernys' one safe haven so far on Villa. That was the one time where they really had things figured out, and they won it. Now, if you want to play it again, you could, but if you want to go to another site, Aviator Games, this was strongly in the hands of Panik. It was on the back of a major flaw they managed to find in Fernys' late round, so Fernys covered that up. Could go a lot differently, but that scoreline of how their last Aviator Games defense ended, it appears to go into that site. That's going to be what I'm going to be thinking about for the next 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's like it was such a great start for them too. It was, they get that first pick from, Nat gets that first pick, or he denies them pushing in, and they look like they were looking at they had the man advantage going into the late game, but then somehow, some way, Psychosis able to get a pick on Oasis, who was, I believe, playing behind Bar as the Chachanka with those Shamuka launchers. And then he pushes in, he denies, gets a kill on one person in sight, and walks into Study, gets another kill. It's like just that streak of kills right there from Psychosis was just an unfortunate weak point for Fernys Taco's late game. And things like that happen sometimes when members from teams just go off in those moments and get, find one pick and they roll over into an entire streak. So hopefully this time they can stop Psychosis from doing that, and they can try and secure that late game and stop them from really pushing and getting that site control. So let's see what on Aviator Games, and it seems to be the same play from them, but there's a big difference on the side of Panik Gaming. Gotcha on the IQ.
The IQ instead of the sledge. Huh.
Was there something from
No, nobody
Fernys
on,
Tacos?
no,
You needed
nobody
a-
on Fernys Tacos 6 picked.
Locate and defuse a bomb.
Huh, I'm gonna be honest, that's a bit of an odd one. I'm not sure about the answer to that, because maybe they want to go downstairs. If they want to open up, say, either Aviator or Games Wall, they could go downstairs and try to find some of those mute jammers, maybe. That's my guess, but the risk with IQ is always missing out on utility, and taking IQ instead of Sledge, you're missing out on a set of nades you could have brought otherwise, and Panik have really liked to play the vertical with those nades in the past couple rounds. So, I mean, I'm going to trust Panik Gaming for a second. They are on match point. They have a couple round buffer if they want to try things out, but I'm not too sure. I'm not sold on that IQ pick just yet.
Hey, it could be to deal with the mute this time, so they make sure they open the vault wall, because the vault wall was a huge part of that round too. Getting that vault open, allowing for Barring to walk in and just cut the site in half. It was a big part for them, but there's also a lot more aggressive roam this time from the side of Fernys Tacos. Barring's already just walked in the site, though. I thought that was the defender I was watching for a second there. He does take shots on the Poise in the back, but Poise backs off into 90. So it looks like this roam has been at least pushed off, and Gotcha downstairs with that G8 is at least dealing with some people downstairs, but that's there was nobody downstairs last time, really. Well, actually, no, Titans down here this time, actually.
Well, Gotcha is in a really good spot to clear out some of that utility, but this is the risk right now, especially with how Gotcha tends to play, is he is isolated, as he has always been downstairs. Of course, we say that, and he never seems to get punished for it. And Titans, he was close by. Now it seems he's rotating all the way back. Nat is currently, I think, all the way downstairs in the basement right now, so he could rotate up and maybe find Gotcha, but either way, the IQ's in a good spot to clear out some of that intel, and he also in a good position to cut Nat off if he wants to rotate. He'll make his claim on Pantry Stairs right now, but his real impact is going to be the vertical with that C4, and we'll see if Panik Gaming is watching.
Now, there it is. Get rid of the mute jammer on the wall. So, yeah, vaults can be opened up, and that's the big part of last time they attacked the site. I mean, a big part. Psychosis was kind of a bigger part of it, but still, it still was an integral part of that attack, was opening the vault wall. So, let's see what happens out. It's going to be Nat. I think Nat here is going to be big here. C4ing from behind, or at least getting a good C4, and he's coming up, and it looks like he's walking through living room. So he should be walking into Gotcha sooner or later. Yep, he does. There goes Gotcha. Great shot from Nat. Denies that push up main stairs. C4 as well from below. Looks like Barring just on the hatch is trying to top up, but there's just peak after peak, and it's Barring to win the fight, and both numbers are low though, so this still could go away to Fernys Tacos.
That was an incredibly risky play by Barring to go for that 1v1 clear, very spur of the moment, but thankfully manages to come away with it. But two members on low HP for both Oasis and Barring to try and make this push work, and still plenty of denial in the hands of Rainbow. With the C4 on the side of Flipper too, Fernys Tacos have plenty of time to delay whatever point of entry Panik want to go for. Psychosis will manage to find a kill. It appears Vault is the name of their game. He's got 2 kills so far. Rainbow's managed to shut him down. Oasis is on 1 HP with the diffuser, but Rainbow's the only one left, and Oasis gets the kill nonetheless. A 7-4 for Panik. A very shaky late round to round things out, but still a good showing for a team that had a lot of question marks coming into this game.
It's that vault wall once again. They opened the vault wall up. It's Psychosis time. Well, once again, Psychosis to walk in, deny the members who are watching that walk in from Skull, allowing those members to walk in, and really allowing them to win that round. So unfortunate for Fernys Tacos, but Panik Gaming come back better compared to last week when they played, or last 2 weeks before they played when they played against Wichita Wolves.
Exactly what you want to see. And by the way, if you're keeping track, at least for today, Drew Spark is now 2-0 on predictions so far. So keeping track on Twitter. Good day for him so far. But honestly, for Fernys Tacos, obviously, they're coming off a 2-game win streak. 1 loss is not going to tank their mentality in any way, shape, or form. But going forward, a big problem that they had on the defenses appeared to be that late round. Panik Gaming, they would lose a couple bodies early on, and Fernys would still find a way to regain, Panik found a way to regain that impact later on. But that's just a tease of potentially the analysis that might come on the desk. They might disagree with me completely. But either way, we'll send it back to Jonah, Connor, and CJ for their thoughts on Panik's 7-4 victory.